Hi Geminis, and welcome to your July 2022 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about your month ahead. I hope you're all doing really well, and yes, let's get straight into this. We are moving quickly this month, as I feel that you are moving quickly as well. It's kind of like a high degree of polarized movement speed here. I feel that like one day you're making a huge headwind of progress, and then like the next day it's kind of like slow and confined feeling, as I think that there's a general volatility right now collectively around like how quickly we're doing things or to what degree we're motivating or not. Yes, the energy is really prime for undertaking some healing this month for you, Gemini. If you can kind of see, if you're familiar with tarot, you might see a few really positive and then a few more difficult archetypes coming up here. I love seeing the Sun, the Queen of Cups, the Six of Wands. And then it's kind of difficult to see the Five of Cups, Eight of Swords, Three of Wands reversed, and King of Pentacles reversed. And it kind of just highlights the general feeling that I've been feeling for a lot of the signs this month, which is like, on one hand, we have this huge revealing, this huge kind of self-empathy and healing around confusion and clarity coming in with the Sun and the Queen of Cups, as well as confidence because of that growing sense of knowing. At the same time, we see through that clarity the way that we've been cutting ourselves off from source, or the way that we've been falsely manufacturing a certain experience, or the way that basically a lot of what we've created is not sustainable. Okay, maybe almost all of it. And we can either be discouraged or we can be like incredibly overcome with joy over this knowledge. Knowledge in general can be a double-edged sword. There's something of a double-edged sword here this month for you, Gemini. You might kind of feel like, I have so much power in this one place, but it also really cuts off a lot of my other opportunities. I now know the truth about this person, and that knowing is so helpful, but it hurts. These types of dynamics are really prevalent in the life of a Gemini because your sign rules over duality. So basically, Gemini, duality is like your territory. And there's going to be a lot of that here this month. And I just want to prepare you guys that July is bringing with it a dose of duality. And we can either get stuck on that, or we can, as I said, just kind of be really happy that we understand both sides of the situation. I also think, and I'm just feeling this intuitively, aside from the tarot cards, that you are really on the brink or right on the edge of an even greater understanding and more of a warm understanding. So it's not going to be such a dualistic, paradoxical understanding, but you're right on the edge of some type of self-discovery or some type of core knowledge about what your true path is going to be forward. Because I think, and if you've been listening to the other readings this month, I've been talking a lot about how a lot of people are just kind of like on the sidelines, or they're kind of scared to get back on the real path, or they're scared to like commit themselves, or perhaps fear of judgment or fear of scrutiny has a lot of people kind of stagnating in a place that was ever meant to be like a side quest or a side aspect of their life. So if that's resonating for you, Gemini, I do think that this is a greater call to reconsider the main path and to kind of let this maybe volatile view of your current life balance be a greater justification for being back onto your main path. Because a lot of this here, and you're not the only sign going through this right now, but a lot of this here is basically like paradoxalism. That's not a word, but the state of paradox existing or being known based on the fact that we have so much idle time for rumination, and we have so much consistency, even perhaps, that we have more time to understand what's off. And this generates a greater energy of there being kind of this feeling of opposition or this feeling of confliction that probably wouldn't at least be identifiable if we were more on a path that we felt was advancing us in our most pure way, rather than just doing that which works, or rather than just kind of stagnating. So stagnation really is the enemy in this month of July. And I would really lean into like Queen of Cups energy, the Sun energy. I love that combination, and it's coming up for you in the first week. So let's go ahead and get into this week to week, and we'll talk about that. First week of July is so beautiful. I think Cancer season is an incredible emotional release for some of you. You could really be like having tears of joy, or having the final encounter with a long-running trauma, like it's finally leaving or it's finally healing and going away, and that could be realized by you in the first week. Also, intuitive clarity, intuitive light, intuitive youthfulness. Okay, the sun has an image of youth in it, and it has growth happening, it has life happening, it has flourishing, waving flexibility represented by the fabric that's flowing so naturally in the wind. There's something that needs to be more easy flowing for you, and there's something that you can do much more easily, or the general theme of ease has got to play a bigger role, because I'm just sensing a lot of difficulty. Okay, things are harder than they have to be. We're spending too much time on what should be a simple task. All right. Queen of Cups, reading that down, says that you don't have to overthink it. Okay, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's a lot of Geminis reinventing the wheel right now. Just delegate some of this stuff, or just do it in an easier way. Okay, ego sometimes expresses itself as too much attentiveness, or too much fix-it-all nature, like fixing things that aren't broken and being way too attentive of things that we don't have to think about. So if you're having that, it might be like a greater expression of ego, as the Sun card represents the ego. And it also suggests that your ego is getting more emotional or more intuitive in nature, and less fiery, or less like, even airy, as a typical Gemini ego might be. So you might be meeting more water signs. You might be attracting more water signs in as well. And I think that you'll have general understanding from water signs. Week number 2, Geminis, you have the 8 of Swords rooted down by the 5 of Cups. Okay, so we are purging all of the tough stuff in the second week of July. I'm going to issue you guys a public announcement warning that the second week of July might have a few flashbacks, or you could even be encountering crazy people, or someone could even have unkind words. And if you do, because to me 8 of Swords and 5 of Cups is the combination. It's like unkind words, or unkind thoughts, unkind memories, flashbacks, etc. And always when we encounter difficulty, we have to see it as a greater sign of future empowerment, or a greater sign that it's not unspoken. So if someone has something harsh to say to you, try to not get too stuck on it, and try to be happy that you now know how they feel, or you now know what the truth is. Better to know the truth than it is for these things to be pent up, and for us to exist in a state of illusion, not knowing how things actually are. Try to look at these things from that perspective. Otherwise, it could feel really like ununderstood, like misunderstood. Like, why did that person say that? It doesn't make sense. It's probably something in them, and it probably has nothing to do with you. I find that projection is really at a high right now, and people want for their problems and for their pain to be seen by others, and maybe even to be poked at by others, so that it's forced to express. Okay, if you like put your hand in the hornet nest, it's more likely to get upset and angry. And like the hornet's nest kind of sometimes exists to be upset and angry. So the hornet's nest will sometimes manifest something to like shake it up. This is happening to humans right now too. Like if someone has a toxic personality trait, it exists almost to be like shaken up. So they will sometimes manifest people who shake them up. And that could be you, Gemini. You could be the manifestation, basically the person shaking up the hornet's nest. So if you come into contact with the hornets, you might consider, before you shake someone up, like, am I just a manifestation to like get this person to like sting me? At least try to do it from a distance or something, Week number 3, the King of Pentacles reversed, rooted down by 6 of Wands. Okay, you might have a debt mentality here. King of Pentacles reversed is like a debt, or not having the most solid foundation. So watch out for spending from your future, Watch out also for unnecessary spending or unnecessary stature or posture. Okay. I think you're beautiful. I think you have everything you need. I think you have the confidence and the will and you already have the stuff you need. You don't have to like go on a buying adventure to reassert your confidence. You have everything that you need. Week number 4, the Page of Cups reversed, rooted down by the Three of Wands reversed. So you're needing to tell people how you feel, or you're needing to be a bit more expressive. People might not understand how you feel. People might not understand that you're upset about something unless you voice it. And that could then completely affect your future prospects. Like, people don't know how you feel, so they're not maybe placing you properly in their own experience. So that can lead your own horizons to change because people don't know how you feel. So try to really remind people how you feel. Don't feel like you have to bottle anything up. Don't feel like you have to, suppress anything or change other people's feelings to kind of distract from your truth. Your truth is vital and your truth is relevant, and it needs to be heard even if it's not super comprehensible by other people. And it's almost like your own horizons rely on that, rely on your truth being understood by the people around you, by your advisors, by your self as well. So let's talk more about that in your extended on Patreon, Gemini. We will look more into more appropriate ways to express your truth, or what is preventing this truth from coming through. And I'll also look into how you can expand this solar energy to increase your healing potential as well in July. So much love, Geminis. That'll be linked below and in this interview screen now. Have a great month. Bye.